the challenges you found in doing Treasure Planet?
Well, for me, the biggest challenge was trying to figure out what it looked like, and you know, the original story is kind of set in 18th century England, right. So to try to tweak it so that it's updated and for sci-fi, it's quite a trick. I mean, it sounds easy to talk about, but it was actually very difficult for us.
Okay. Is there a lot of mixing of traditional and computer in this?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the characters are hand-drawn traditionally, but then a number of the characters are 3D, they're computer animated, and characters are hybrids too, they're mixed. So it's a little bit of everything.
Are there any techniques that you use or anything that were real groundbreaking that people should look for that they haven't seen before?
Yeah, what we call a virtual set, which is actually it's a 3D, a computer-generated set, but it's actually been painted. That's been digitally painted so that it looks like a painting, and you can move your camera through it. And when you move your camera through it, it still looks like a painting. So that was a big deal for us.
What's your next project? You know yet?
Right now I'm taking a vacation. That's my project.
That's a good project. Laughing Place?
Oh, great.
Good to meet you. You're the writer on the film?
Yes.
Did you, adapting a story that was already there, that make it easier or harder?
What made it easier in some ways because you had a framework to go on. Made it harder because it's everybody's favorite book. And as soon as everybody heard that we were doing an adaptation, I would start getting calls like, "Don't blow it," So that's the challenge, And so it's how do you make a film that's as exciting for kids now as the book was, when the book first came out.
Just curious, did you look at Disney's Treasure Island at all? Their film?
Oh yeah. Well, I looked at all the. I mean, I'm a fan of the book too, so I'd seen Treasure Island and Disney's Treasure Island and all the different versions of it before I even had met the guys, Ron and John.
Sorry. Action animated films have traditionally had a hard road to go. You think this one's going to be different?
Oh, I mean, you can. All you can do really as a writer or as a filmmaker is just make it good. Whether or not people flock to it or whatever, you never really know. I mean, I know that when I watched it, I thought, okay, this is thrilling. This is really dynamic, and I'm with Jim, all the way through. And fortunately for me, I made the movie with my kids in mind. Thinking like, okay, well, I hope that's their favorite film. Joey. Come on over, say hi.
Hey,
this is the guy I was writing for all the way through.
And you've seen the film, I'm sure, right, Joey?
Yep.
You like it?
Oh yeah, I like it a lot.
Your of all time?
Yep.
Good answer.
What about you, Sam? You like the movie? He's got his Long John Silver going.
Bad guy.
Yeah, not bad guy. No, Silver's not. He's misunderstood.
Did you run a lot of ideas by them?
No, actually, because I wanted when they first saw the movie, I wanted it to be fresh for them.
Okay.
So just knowing them and knowing the kids I coach in football and basketball and soccer, I just wanted for it to be like their favorite film, a film that they would really enjoy.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yes, well, thank you.
Nice to meet you. This is great. You did John Hawkins, right?
Jim Hawkins, yeah.
What were your previous Disney characters?
As a supervisor, the only other character I did was young and baby Tarzan on Tarzan.
Okay.
And then as an animator, I worked on Pocahontas and Hunchback and stuff like that.
I know Disney did Treasure Island action film quite a while ago. Did you look at that at all?
I didn't really, because my character, Jim, in what we were doing, and I think just the acting alone, it was. Well, I remember when I read the script for it, thinking how many incredible emotional moments this character had and how real he needed to feel, because he's really one of the only humans in the film. And so he's sort of the judge of how this world is. If he's very cartoony or not believable, then everybody else sort of loses a notch. But if he can be very real and very emotional and very believable, then that makes these situations in this world, you have more of an investment in it. So.
Now, I know he's very athletic, yet there's all this sailboarding scenes.
Yeah,
do you look at real athletes when you're doing that?
We looked at everything. Gosh, that was the fun thing about this, where the solar surfing that Jim does is we're not restricted by anything because he's flying through the air So, I mean, we looked at, every time there was an X game on, you know, or I was like glued to the TV. We looked at sky surfing, we looked at snowboarding, we looked at skiing, we looked at windsurfing, and all these things kind of found their way into this one thing, which to me seems like a really fun thing to do. So,
What are you working on now?
right now, I guess kind of between things. I'm doing some digital training. I'm trying to learn the computer a little bit. And also trying to do some story work as well.
Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you.
When you first considered doing this project, what really drew you to it?
Well, we're both big fans of science fiction, I think, and fantasy. Big Disney fans, and we also are big fans of the Robert Louis Stevenson. So for me, the really interesting thing was to take the Robert Louis Stevenson story and set it in kind of a fantasy universe, so that we could deal with characters that we haven't dealt with before. We've dealt with mermaids and genies and things like that, but to go to outer space and deal with robots and cyborgs and aliens was something new, a lot of fun.
I know you have dealt with mermaids and genies and strongmen and stuff like that. This isn't a musical. Is that a lot different for you?
That was different, yeah. Every one of our other films has been a musical, but this was, we felt the action-adventure story of this made it hard to sort of integrate the characters suddenly bursting into the pirates are going to do a mutiny. We just couldn't picture a musical number there. So, and we like sort of doing something different. I love musicals, but it was fun to do something different on this one.
I mean, it does have music or songs by Johnny Resnick, which are the characters don't break out into song, but the song is important. I mean, there's a key song that's very important to this story, and James Howard, certainly the musical score that he wrote is brilliant and was a very big part of the movie.
Now, I know action animated movies have often had a hard way to go with audiences. Do you think there's something about this that may set it apart?
Well, we tried to really have the sort of not rely just on the action, but get characters that you're involved with and have humor and some of those hallmarks of sort of Disney animation. So you can never predict the success or failure of one of these things, but I think we've tried to engage the audience on an emotional level, not just on the visceral action level. So if it works that way, we have a better chance, I would say. Yeah.
Is there one thing in this film you think people should really keep an eye out for that you're really proud of?
Well, there are many things from a character level. I think the character relationship between John Silver and Jim Hawkins is sort of very, I think they're getting emotional and developing, and they're two very complex characters. I think they're two of the most complex characters we've ever dealt with in animation. So I think very particularly Glenn Keane, who animated Silver, and John Ripp, who animated Jim, the work that they did. And I would also say visually, I think the combination of the new technology with the art direction, with the combination of 18th century with futuristic technology, I think is very what Andy Gaskell and Ian Gooding of the art directors achieved was amazing.
What are you working on now?
We don't know what our next project is. We're just sort of kicking around some ideas, and we'll know better in another month or two. So, okay, thanks. Thanks.
Hello. Yes, my character's name is Dr. Doppler, and he is some sort of outer space creature who's an astrophysicist, and he finances this big treasure hunt to find the treasure planet.
Have you done a lot of it?
I've done some. I did Bug's Life for Disney. I did Osmosis Jones for Warner Brothers that went right down the tubes, but it was still fun. And I've done some other like TV stuff.
You enjoy that?
I did a Simpsons. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. I love doing it. Yeah, it's fun. It's a nice change. Do I have any children? No, you don't have to, though, to do these things.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Other than A Bug's Life and Treasure Planet, what would you say your favorite Disney movie is?
Good. My favorite movie. Boy, that's tricky because there's so many. You mean Disney animated movie or any kind of movie?
Let's go with animated.
Oh, hell. I'm trying to think one of the great old ones. I mean, I always liked Fantasia, and
Or non-animated.
well, I'd have to see it again because I haven't seen it since when it first came out when I was a kid. But Old Yeller, I remember just crying through Old Yeller. So I don't know. Well, I don't know if it holds up. And now I might see it and think, oh, what was I thinking? But at the time, I loved it.
And how old were you at that time?
Well, it was. I must have been like 6 or something. I don't know what year it came out, but yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, is this the first voice work that you've done?
No.
No? What else have you done?
Oh, actually, yeah, it is.
Was it a fun project?
Yeah.
What You play young Jim, right?
I'm thinking after this too.
Oh yeah, what are you doing?
Inspector Badger.
That'll be fun.
It's a Disney cartoon. I'm the main lead of it.
And you play young Jim, right?
Yeah.
Is there something about young Jim that you really liked?
I've never seen it.
Is he adventurous? Oh, you have? Oh, well, so you're going to have a real party today.
Yeah.
Okay, now my next question is, what's your favorite Disney movie?
I already told you.
Pardon me?
I already told you.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was it?
Monsters Inc.
Oh, Monsters Inc. But do you have a favorite character in the film? No? You like them all? Disneyland a lot?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite ride?
Splash Mountain.
Oh,